So, Cassandra. What to say about Cassandra? I first heard about this show on TV actually. If you don't know me, then my name is Garance and I'm French. And the French news were talking about this show because the song Guten Morgen Sonnenschein by Nana Mouskouri is actually the German version of this song. The original song in French, still sang by Nana Mouskouri, was famous in France in the 70s. And like many hit songs, it was remade in different languages. And this German version of the song was used in a TV show called Cassandra. So I was like, what is this show? And that was just the start of the journey. Cassandra is a German TV show from Netflix, and here is the premise from Wikipedia. Cassandra, an electronic domestic helper developed in the 1970s, is re-employed when a family moves into a house that has been unoccupied for 50 years. Okay, that's weird. And then I saw some videos where a robot was creating tension in the family, and I was like, oh, I need to watch this show. So I did. And I am not exaggerating when I say that this is one of the best things I have done this year. I'm going to talk about the plot now, and there will be spoilers, so you have been warned. At the beginning of the show, we meet this family. We have Samira, David, Finn, and Juno. They seem rather ordinary, but we later learn that they are moving because Samira's sister just killed herself in their kitchen. And they move in this old house that has a weird screen in every room. Finn turns on the machine in the basement, but nothing happens. Until the night. Cassandra wakes up. Cassandra is sort of a robot that has her face on every of those weird screens in every room, and she also has a robot body to travel around the house. They all get woken up, freak out, but then learn that she is here to help them, and they go back to sleep. But soon enough, Cassandra starts to pit Juno against her parents, and let's just say her behavior is strange. Then she even tries to kill Samira and threatens her, locking her up in the pantry and then manages to make her look crazy. She even tells her that her husband and kids are hers now and that she has to leave. But because Cassandra has been manipulating everyone else, everyone thinks Samira is just crazy. After a while and many horrible things happening, Samira is sent to a mental hospital and Cassandra finally takes control of the whole house and the family inside. Now that's one hell of a plot. I had no idea where this was going as I was watching it, but then I understood where it was going and wow. I was expecting much more physical violence and blood, but actually it was mostly manipulation and mind games. Although I have to say, when she just snapped the father's finger off, I did have to pause the show for a minute because I was gagged. Same for that moment in the first episode where she just runs over that poor mouse. But the violence is in the way that she manipulates Juno against her parents, how she makes the mother look like an alcoholic, how she makes it look like she's just trying to help when she's the one causing the problems in the first place. But the more tense and mentally violent it becomes, the more you understand why Cassandra is this way. Her husband was cheating on her, and he is the reason why she had cancer and why her daughter looked the way she did. Her husband is the reason why the son killed his bullies with a gun and pretty much why everything happened. Because he was so obsessed with perfect masculinity, he was disappointed in his son who didn't want to play football. Him wanting to have a son he could really love is the reason why he tried to have another baby with Cassandra. Then, he just endangered his wife and unborn child's life with his new machines just to see if it was a boy or a girl. That scene is truly horrible because he's literally hurting his wife, and later we find out that it gave her cancer like everywhere in her body, and he doesn't care. And then he learns that she's having a girl, and he's so disappointed. And when she came out looking the way she did, he wanted to abandon her, which he ultimately did. The only time that he showed his wife that he cares about her is when she was giving birth in the bathtub and he was trying to get her to the hospital. That's the only scene where we can see him truly be concerned about his wife. But that's the bare minimum. You're not a good husband just because you didn't let your wife bleed to death. Then he had a baby with his wife's best friend, and the second that he turned his dying wife into a robot, his mistress moved in with their new baby. That's why you can understand where Cassandra is coming from. She just wants to have a loving family, she just wants to be a mother. But her husband took that away from her and then just went on with his life. Of course, that doesn't justify anything that she did, because what the actual fuck, but you know what I mean. I thought this show was very interesting in a way that it was structured. The flashbacks, paired with the events happening in the main timeline, really explain everything in a way that does not feel unnatural. It almost feels like we are part of the house. We witness the things that happened in the 70s and the things that are happening now, and we know the lore. We know the cause and the consequences, and we are stuck in this weird parallel. We're Cassandra, in a way. And that's genius. Altogether, I really like the plot, and what made it even better is the acting. Everyone was so good, especially the little girl. I was very impressed with her. But I have to say, there are some things that I have to complain about. I thought the last episode was a bit anticlimactic, the end of the episode especially. Samira manages to escape from the hospital and get to the house. Cassandra sends David to kill her, but that's when it gets weird. She says to David that she will hurt the kids if he doesn't kill Samira, but then at the end, she says to Samira that she would never have hurt the kids. Honestly, I believe her. She was a great mother and truly cared about the kids. She only physically hurt the parents. Of course, her actions had an impact on the kids, but I don't think that she directly hurt the kids. So the father goes after the mother and tells her that he only wants to pretend to kill her, that he would never hurt her, but that Cassandra has asked that he kills her. At the end, when everything is resolved, we get this weird moment when they reunite, and we don't really understand if the father really wanted to hurt his wife or not. Maybe that's just me, maybe I didn't understand. Mind you, I watched this show in German and I can't say that I'm fluent, but I feel like the show wanted to paint the father not as the bad guy, but as not trustworthy. And it's not just about the end and the scenes that I just mentioned when Cassandra tasked him to kill his wife. All throughout the show, he's not shown to be the best husband. He's working all day, and it doesn't require a lot of work for Cassandra to pit him against his wife and make her seem crazy. He is also the reason that Samira's sister killed herself in the first place, because she overheard him saying that she basically was a burden to his family. I mean, of course, I get where he was coming from. The sister was mentally ill and did hurt his daughter, but the way he reacts and says things can be very violent in a way. So I didn't really understand the dynamic between the mother and the father at the end. Was he manipulated by Cassandra when she told him that she was gonna hurt the kids? Why would he not tell Samira immediately? Maybe I was distracted and that might be on me, but I'm a bit confused. Especially because this is literally the last scene. We don't get anything else after that. I wish we could have had a couple of scenes at the end where they move out of the house, maybe divorce if need be. But we only get the mother looking at him, hurt and confused, and that's it. I also thought it could have been nice to see the mistress of Cassandra's husband, because she and her baby survived the car crash that killed the other two. There was just no closure for me, and I was a bit disappointed, because there was so much you could do to bring the story to an end. As a viewer, but also as a screenwriter, it makes me feel icky. Another thing I have mixed feelings about is the way the show handled Finn being queer. Now, we love some representation, we love having queer people of color, and we also love that the family acknowledged that he's queer without making a big deal about it. But what I didn't really care for was that the plotline was very cliche. Finn meets this new guy that is kind of a bully. Turns out they like each other, they start dating in secret, but the love interest is ashamed and in the closet. We have a scene where they are kissing in a locker room, and when someone walks in, he punches Finn, screaming slurs and stuff. We also learn that his family is abusive, and then he runs away at some point. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but this is very cliche. So 1 point for the representation, but icky feelings about the very cliche storyline. But other than that, that show was incredible. I really liked it, and honestly, I just might watch it again. I was also trying to learn the song for a hot minute, but I only made it to the first chorus. This is one of the greatest shows I have seen in a while, and except for the end, I was really engaged during the whole thing. I am very glad that I watched this show and absolutely would recommend it to anyone. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon for another video about cinema, TV shows, and music. Guten Morgen, guten Morgen, guten Morgen, Sonnenschein. Diese Nacht blieb dir verborgen, doch du darfst nicht traurig sein. That's what I remember from the song, so yeah.